Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today we are back with another book haul. It actually feels like I just did one of these. It's probably been about a month or two since I did my first book haul of the year. I don't typically film many book hauls throughout the year, but I have been receiving a lot of books from publishers. I've also been picking up a lot of things from Book of the Month. So I just have a nice big stack here that I want to share with you guys. So we are going to go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start with my Book of the Month picks because they are right here. So within the last month or two, maybe three, I have picked up 12 books from Book of the Month. Last year, I can't lie, they were slacking on their picks. They were not having a lot of good things to choose from. This year, however, it's only April and I have been picking up a lot. And so we're gonna go ahead and talk about those. I don't have them like ordered by like which month I got them from. I'm just gonna go ahead and show them to you. So first up, we have How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates by Shaylee Thompson. I actually recently read this one. I have included it in my previous recent reads. So if you want full thoughts, it will be in that video. But this one is a adult thriller and we're following this girl, Jamie. She is a slasher movie and rom-com movie enthusiast. Her and her friend go to the speed dating event. While they're there, people start to get murdered and they have to survive. I thought this was a fun one. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I think the rom-com and slasher references was a little bit too much at times, but overall I had a fun time with this one. Glad I picked it. Then I have It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. I am super excited about this one because I have heard nothing but good things about it. This is a adult thriller. This one is following this woman who's on a family vacation and she hears a scream next door, and I think some people, the family next door, were found murdered, and so she's trying to figure out what happened. Again, heard really good things about this book. This would be my second book from this author, so I'm excited to get to this one. Now, out of all of the books that I have so far, this one I did not really like. I have not talked about it yet because I actually recently DNF'd this one. This is The Exes by Leodora Darlington. This is a adult thriller. And in this one, we're following this woman who in the past have killed her ex-boyfriends and her husband has found out, and then the story kind of takes off from there. I actually was kind of bored with this one. I was gonna hold off on DNFing it and try to come back to it later, but I never felt inclined to pick this up again. So this one, unfortunately, is a DNF. Hopefully, I won't DNF anything else that I've picked up from Book of the Month. So another one that I'm super excited about and I have heard nothing but good things about, it is This Story Might Save Your Life by Tiffany Crum. This is another adult thriller because that's what I like. So this one says, best friends Benny and Joy like to say they've been saving each other's lives since the moment they met until the day Joy disappears and Benny is suspected of her murder. And I think these are like true crime podcasts, or they're the host of a podcast. That's kind of what sold me on this one. But again, I have heard nothing but good things about this one. And apparently a lot of people have wanted to get their hands on this because it is currently sold out on Book of the Month. And then the next one that I picked up, this is You Did Nothing Wrong by C.G. Drews. This is a adult, I think, horror book, and this one follows a single mother who has just, I think, moved in with either her husband or boyfriend in this house, and she's starting to hear voices through the walls. This cover to me is freaking stunning. Now this one, I will say I have heard more mixed things about. I'm hoping that I enjoy it. I almost want to say this is probably something that I want to save for the fall time, but I am really excited. Another one that I have been seeing going around that a lot of people have been really enjoying, this is Kin by Tayari Jones. I have not read anything by this author. I know that they are pretty popular. But this is a adult fiction that follows 2 lifelong friends whose worlds collide in the face of devastating tragedy. I don't think I really want to know too much going into this one, but I do know people have really been enjoying it. Next up, I have Wild Dark Shore. This is Book of the Month's Book of the Year for 2025. And so if you don't know, with Book of the Month, every year, I think they have like 5 or 6 books as finalists for Book of the Year. once that winner is chosen, then that month you are able to pick either the winner or any one of the finalists, and you get that book for free. And I decided to pick up the winner. The reason why I decided to pick this one up is because this is another one that I've heard nothing but good things about. And I don't think this is something that I necessarily probably would have gravitated to on my own, but because of the rave reviews, I wanted to go ahead and pick this up. This one, the only thing that I remember is there's like this family and some woman washes up on shore. I think it's like a adult fiction, maybe part mystery. I don't really remember, but I am looking forward to this one. I hope that I like it. We'll see. The next one that I picked up is Lady Tremaine by Rachel Hockhauser. I hope I said that right. This is a fantasy book. I'm not sure if it is YA or adult. I'm kind of leaning more towards YA, I think. But this is a Cinderella retelling. I haven't read a good retelling in a while. The last few that I've picked up haven't really been hitting for me. I've heard good things about this one, so I hope that it's good. Hopefully. I don't think I've read a Cinderella retelling in a while, so I am really looking forward to this one. Then this is another book that I have already read. I really enjoyed this one. This is Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. This is an adult thriller. This one follows these two women who go on this caving expedition. Right before they go into the cave, they are approached by this man. While they're in the cave, they find out that they're being followed. And so the story is being told by one of the survivors, and they are recounting what took place in this cave. Really good. If you have not picked up anything from Taylor Adams, this is a good place to start. This was one of my most anticipated reads for this year. I was really excited that Book of the Month actually had it, so I'm happy that I enjoyed this one. Now, I do know these last three that I picked up, these are from the month of April. These are April's picks. I just received these in the mail, but the first one I have is Molka by Monica Kim. I think this is a adult horror. I think I have not read anything by this author, but I have been wanting to pick something up, and I've been hearing really good things about this one. On the front of it, it says he has a taste for voyeurism. She has a thirst for revenge. This one, all I know is it's about hidden cameras. I'm looking forward to this one. This is another one where I really like the cover. It's very catching, so I hope I enjoy it. Then another one that I'm like super excited about. I have not read anything from this author, but this is Nothing Tastes as Good by Luc Dumas. I think it's horror. I'm not really sure. So this one follows this man who's overweight. He enters like a clinical trial that helps him lose the weight, but it has, I think, some side effects that includes wanting to murder people. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about the synopsis of that one. But this one sounds so good. Again, this is like another cover, even though it's really simple, like with the donut on the front. Maybe it's because I just like donuts. It made me want to get it. And then the last one that I have from Book of the Month, I was also really excited that they included this one because this is another anticipated read for me for this year, but this is Mad Mabel by Sally Hempworth. This is either adult mystery thriller or just mystery. But in this one, we're following Mabel. She's like 80 years old, and there is a neighbor that is found murdered, and then rumors start swirling, and then you find out that Mabel was actually a convicted murderer back in the day. I am excited about this, and one thing that I have really been learning about myself and about my reading is that I enjoy reading books that involved like elderly characters. I think the stories are way more entertaining and fun, so I hope I enjoy this one. So now I'm going to go over all of the books that I have received from publishers. First one we have is Code Gray, Death, Life, and Uncertainty in the ER by Farzan A. Navi, who is a doctor. I believe I got this one from Simon & Schuster. This has been out for a while. I think the paperback was just available, so I went ahead and requested it, and I got it. But I am really into like medical dramas and any sort of like medical TV shows. And this one is the doctor recounting his time in the emergency room department in the hospital. I think I was even more intrigued when I saw this because I have really been into the TV show The Pitt on HBO. If you guys have not watched it, you should check it out. And so when I saw this one, I feel like this would be something that I would really enjoy. So these next 4 books, I actually got these from Berkeley. They had a mystery box giveaway that you could sign up for, and I actually got it, and it included these 4 books. So the first one that I have that actually sounds the most interesting, this is Plant Lady by Min Young Kang. This is translated by Shanna Tan. But we follow this woman who works in this plant shop. So she works there by day, but at night she helps these women make their men disappear. This sounds like a good time to me. Then also as a part of the package, now this one I really am looking forward to. This is Somebody Worth Killing by Jessica Payne. This is loving mother, loyal wife, cold-blooded killer, another thriller. But this one follows this woman who is a wife and a mom, and she's also a assassin, and her next target is actually her husband. And so what is she gonna do? This one comes out on June 16th, and I think I forgot to tell you guys when this one comes out. This one comes out on August 4th. Another one I got as a part of that mystery box, this is Feast by Katherine Kurtz. I think this is another thriller. It doesn't come out until June. Now this one I was not really familiar with, but at the top of it, it just says, in 19th century France, a young woman with a magical sense of taste saves a duck from poison, and her new role as poison taster thrust her into the world of nobility where secrets and danger lurk around every corner. I'm intrigued by this one because I like stories that include poison tasters. Now, that's something that I wouldn't do, but I think stories surrounding that are interesting, and I hope that I enjoy this one. And then the last one that I got in that box, this is Henry Tudor Must Die by Julian Lane. This comes out on July 21st. This is another one that I wasn't really quite familiar with, but this says, one queen exiled, another headed for the gallows, both hungry for revenge. England's most infamous queens unite in vengeance against Henry VIII. I'm not really sure. This is something that I probably would have picked up on my own, but I plan to get to it at some time, and hopefully I enjoy it. This is another one that I got from Berkeley. This is Summer's Never Over by Darby Bozeman. This is on sale June 9th, but this is a adult thriller, and this one follows this girl who years prior, her friend ended up dying at the summer camp. She finds herself back at the camp as well as another friend of the girls, of the dead girls, and they are trying to figure out what actually happened that night at this camp. I actually like stories that take place at summer camps. This is one of the reasons why I requested this one, so hopefully it's good. And then another one that I got from Berkeley, this is Secret Lives of Murderers' Wives by Elizabeth Arnott. This is, I think, another thriller because why not? It also came with this cute like little California postcard, but this says, who better to catch a killer than those who have shared their lives with one? It follows 3 women, and they are all convicted killers. That is literally all that I need to know. I have heard a few reviews here and there about this one, and people have seemed to really enjoy it, so I hope I will as well. This was also on Book of the Month, so if you guys are intrigued by this and you have a Book of the Month subscription, then this is something that they offer on there. Another one that I got from Berkeley, we have Daughters of Crows by Mark Lawrence. This is a adult fantasy. I think this is like dark academia, but this says the survival of a brutal academy must exhume her own past, and this is the first book in a new series. I was intrigued. I haven't read anything by Mark Lawrence. I do have their other series, the Red Sister series. I think that one includes like, it's a fantasy series about nuns. I have not read it yet. So at some point, I'm gonna read something by this author. Obviously, I probably will start with this one. So another one that I got from a publisher, this is The Fall of Iris Henley by Jennifer Graham. This one came from Wednesday Books. This is actually already out. This is a twisty thriller about a Texas teen accused of murder who's desperate to clear her name. I was not familiar with this one. This isn't one that I requested or anything. It just kind of showed up. I am intrigued though. Now this one I also got from, this one came from Simon Books, and I did request this one, and I am super excited about it because this is Keeper of Locked Children by Sadiqa Johnson. I think this is more of like a an adult historical fiction, and I have been wanting to read something from this author for a while. I have heard nothing but good things about her books. So this one takes place in the 1950s at a elite boarding school in Maryland, where long buried secrets bind together a visionary woman, a heartbroken soldier, and a girl in search of her true identity. I haven't heard too many people talking about this one, but the few reviews that I have seen, they have been very positive. So I'm so excited to get to this one, and I'm actually so excited that they sent it to me. So the next two books I got it, it's a duology, and it was a box set that was sent to me. I actually had the first book, which is Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. The second one is Parable of the Talents. I just didn't have the second book, and so when they offered it, I don't even remember which publisher this came from, Grand Central. So when they offered it, I requested it. I requested it a long time ago, and it just showed up like last month. So I was really excited to get to this. I have only read one thing by Octavia E. Butler, and that was Kindred. I read Kindred when I was back in high school. I have not read it since, but I wanted to check this one out because everyone has said really good things about it. And even though she wrote it a long time ago, a lot of stuff that she was talking about then has actually happened now from what I heard. It was originally published in 1993. This is a post-apocalyptic novel. And it says, now 30 years later, this story of survival, whose action begins in 2024, remains astonishingly relevant with this gripping message of faith and hope. And I think this is told in letters. I think that's what these are. I think it's told in like letters or journal entries. But yeah, it's kind of scary that this started in 2024. I'm really excited to get to this one, but also kind of nervous to see what Octavia Butler is talking about in these books. These next few books that I've received from publishers, I only have 3 more. I actually just received these in the mail. So the next one is Witch Queen Rising by Savannah Stevens. This is a fantasy. I think it's adult. But it says a reclusive witch who fled the burden of her bloodline rises to be the greatest among them in this lush and haunting fantasy debut. The cover of this is freaking stunning, and I love stories about witches, so I hope that I enjoy this one. Next up, this one sounded like a fun one. This is one that I requested. I think I got this one from Simon Books. This one actually comes out July 28th, and this is Buyer Beware by Catherine Ryan Howard. This is a thriller, and it says, could you live in a house where someone has been murdered? How sure can you be that you don't? A home of her own, a single suitcase, a past like a shadow. If these walls could talk, they'd scream. Literally, that is all that is on the back of this. Sounds good. I'm intrigued. And then the last book that I have received from a publisher, this is Sanctuary by James Cleary. This is a thriller, I believe. And this one came from Berkeley as well. This is a post-apocalyptic, electrifying debut thriller. I'm just gonna read this little part in here. It says it takes place in the near future. Climate disasters have crippled the United States, with half the country underwater and the other half a dust bowl. Civil unrest soon escalates into something darker, something unstoppable. It's a nightmare for the average person, but for those with great wealth, it's an opportunity. They've channeled their money, power, and influence into being prepared for the great unraveling. This one really intrigued me just because anything that has to do or mention like a world with climate disasters really kind of terrifies me, because I feel like that's where the world is heading right now. So I'm really intrigued by this. I have not heard anybody talk about this. This is a finished copy, so hopefully I enjoy it. Now, these last few books that I'm going to talk about are just books that I have randomly picked up here or there within the last few months. So first up, we have Tradwife by Saratoga Schaefer. I had never heard of this book before. I have never heard of this author, but when I was browsing in the bookstore, the cover of this pregnant woman and then the like demon hand holding her belly, that is what got me. So this is a horror, and it says a traditional wife influencer allows a demonic creature to impregnate her in this unnerving horror novel. Yikes. This is definitely one that I'm probably going to save for the fall time. Next up, I have Dear Debbie by Frida McFadden. We all know this is a thriller. This is one that for some reason I've heard a couple of people talk about, and it just sounded like something that I would really enjoy. All I remember about this is that we're following this woman who has like a advice column to help other women with their marital issues, but she has marital issues of her own and she is going to great lengths to try to solve them, I guess. But again, I heard good things about this one. Now, at the beginning of the year, I heard a lot of people talking about this. I have not really heard too many people talk about it as of late, but hopefully I enjoy it. Frida McFadden seems to be kind of like a hit or miss for me, but we'll see. Next up, I have Rogue Justice by Stacey Abrams. This is the second book in her series that I don't recall what that series is called. But the first book is called While Justice Sleeps. I actually got this signed by Stacey Abrams. She was one of the featured authors at the Savannah Book Festival this year. She is actually the reason why I went. Me and my dad went and saw her speak about this second book. And after hearing her speak about the book, now I've had the first book in the series on my shelf for a really long time. But after she was talking about it and hearing like her process for the story, I now plan on reading it definitely by the end of the year. But I went ahead and picked up the second book because I wanted her to sign something of mine. And of course, when you go to these functions, like you have to buy the book there. So I just went ahead and picked up the second one. So I cannot wait to start this series. Next up, I have a young adult fantasy. This is Our Vicious Oaths by N.E. Davenport. I think this is a romantasy. So the back of this just says, a warrior princess and a vengeful king from rival fae courts form a fierce alliance to take down a merciless despot in the journey of powerful magic, enemies to lovers romance, and political intrigue. I think this sounds great. I've heard a lot of good things about this. I think this one actually just came out either the end of last year or right at the beginning of this year. But I love anything that mentions that there's a lot of political intrigue. That's really what sells me on fantasy. So I hope I enjoy this. The next one I got, this is honestly a cover buy for me. This is All Eyes on Him by Ileana Zander. This is a thriller, and I really liked the cover of this, and then I really like the sprayed edges that say, make sure you follow the rules. This one follows this woman whose best friend actually leaves a club with this man, and then she is found the next day at a bus stop unconscious, and now her friend is trying to figure out what happened when she was with this man. Intrigued. I also have another book by this author that I have not read yet that is called Love Mom that I have heard a lot of people rave about. So I'm excited to get to that one as well as this one. Next up, we have Escape by Stephen Fishbach. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't think I like the cover of this. Can't say that I really like the cover, but the synopsis is what made me pick this up. And this is a chunky book. This is a thriller. And it says, it's a propulsive, funny, and big-hearted debut about ambition, manipulation, and what happens when the stories we live by turns against us. So this says it's about a washed-up reality show. I'm a veteran. He is involved in some sort of like scandal, and then he's asked to be on another reality show called Escape. And then the story just kind of takes off from there. I love any story that has to do with reality shows because I am a reality TV show junkie. So of course, I also like to read about it. So I'm really excited for this one. I actually have a video that I plan on doing that will involve this one as well as some other books. So be on the lookout for that one soon. So the next 4 books that I have here are all parts of a series. This is the Legends of the First Empire series by Michael J. Sullivan. I read the first book in the, I read the first book in the series last year. Now, I like to buy his books from his personal website because all of the books that he sends to you, they are signed, and I want my book signed. And so I have 2 of his series, if you can see right up here. And so I wanted to go ahead and get the next books in this series. Funny thing is, when I went on the website, they were having a sale. So each of these books were only $10 and they were signed. However, There are supposed to be 6 books in the series. They were out of book number 3. I keep randomly going on the site to see if I can find book 3 because I do want book 3. I also want it in a hardback and I would love to have it signed. But I have not found it on the site, so I'm missing a book. So we have book number 2, that is Age of Swords. Then we have book 4, that is Age of Legends. Book 5, that is Age of Death. And then we have book 6, which is Age of Empire. I really enjoyed the first book in the series. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed his other 2 series, but I have enjoyed it enough to want to keep going. A quick rundown of what the first book was about. It was about a human that was able to kill a god, which is something that you should not be able to do. And then a lot of events took place after that. A lot of fun characters, a lot of good banter, and I did like the world. My favorite characters of Michael J. Sullivan are Hadrian and Royce, which are a part of those 2 series up there, which is Rhaeria Chronicles and Rhaeria Revelations. But with that being said, I still enjoyed this series enough to want to continue, which that is my plan for this year, to go ahead and continue with the series. But I do have to find book 3 from somewhere. Another book that I have here that I also got signed, we have Restore Me by J.L. Seegers. This is a adult fantasy. I think this is Enemies to Lovers. These are new covers. I think all of her covers for this series are being redone. This is one of the pictures in it, which I really loved. If I'm remembering correctly, this is about this woman whose husband dies, but then she ends up dating his friend. This is really, really long. And like I said, I did get this signed. J.L. Seegers showed up at a book event where they were talking about this book. Not only was she there, but she is really good friends with the author Natasha Bishop, who wrote Only for the Week, whose second book is also coming out this month. But she was also there. She was like a surprise guest, and she was there signing books. So it was a great night. But I'm really excited to get to this one, as well as some other books that she has. She has some other series, but this is one that I've heard really good things about. Next up, we have The Break-In by Catherine Faulkner. This is a adult thriller. I've only read one other book by this author that I really love that I don't really see enough people talking about, and that was The Other Mothers. But this one is about a home invasion. Short and sweet. Now, the home invasion stories seem to be a hit or miss for me. I have not heard a lot of people talk about this one, but because I liked another book of hers, I'm hoping that I will also like this one. Then the last book that I have here, I actually, you know what? I got this one from the publisher too. I just didn't have it in the right stack. I got this one from St. Martin's Press. It also came with an umbrella, but this one is The Fairweather Friend by Jessie Garcia. This is a thriller. So this one is about this weather woman who was found murdered in her car, and we end up following all of these other characters. So like some friends of hers, family, some fans from her fan club, some people that she worked with, and you start to get a lot of insight about this woman, and you start to suspect quite a few people. I had a fun time with this one. So this author wrote The Business Trip. I read that one. I think that one is their more popular one, or I think it's like the only other book that they wrote, but I've seen people talk about it. This one I liked way more than The Business Trip. So if you want to know where to start with Jessie Garcia, I would say start with this one. So these are all the books that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts down below. If you think that I should hurry up and pick up one of these books, please let me know that as well. But I will see you guys next time.